Our next guest says Generation Z, which includes people born from the mid-90s to about 2010, much more conservative than millennials. Keystone College professor Jeff Brauer says this: politically, Generation Z is liberal, moderate with social issues like support for marriage equality and civil rights, and moderate conservative with fiscal and security issues. Generation Z's inclinations generally fit more moderate Republicans. Jeff Brauer joins us now. Professor, where do you get this from? How did you come to this? Because that's exactly contrary to what we've been told.
Hi, Stuart. Well, there's been some research done now by academics and also by marketers out there on Generation Z. I've been particularly looking at their voting behavior, comparing what happened in 2012 to what's happened in 2016. One of the problems is that pollsters and pundits have been getting things wrong, obviously, lately in 2016, including myself. But when we look at the numbers...
Yeah, look, in general terms, would you say that this Generation Z is in favor of tax cuts, less regulation, in favor of growing the economy rather than sharing things out fairly? Is that the side that they're now on?
Yes. Generation Z grew up in, the time of the Great Recession. And, personally, with school cuts, budget cuts, they're much more conservative when it comes to fiscal issues. So they're much more interested in less government spending, less government regulations, and making sure that their tax dollars stay in their pockets. They want stability. They grew up during the Great Recession where they saw their parents and their parents' friends lose their jobs and, didn't get better jobs. So they're definitely much more conservative when it comes to fiscal issues and also security issues.
Well, why don't we hear more of this? All we ever hear about from our nation's campuses is the left going after anybody who's even slightly conservative.
Right, and this is kind of the message that I'm trying to get out there because, people are getting it wrong. We talk about the youth vote, and the youth vote runs from 18 to 29. And the youth vote up until the last election really just included the millennials. And the millennials have been consistently Democratic and consistently liberal. But now the youth vote is consisting half of Gen Z and half of the millennials. And people aren't taking that into account. And the pollsters and the pundits and the political parties need to start paying attention that the Gen Zs are now half of that youth vote, and soon they'll be the entire youth vote. And we see that in the numbers. The Democrats from 2012, just party ID for the youth vote went down from 44% to 37%. That's a 7-point drop. And during the election in 2016, there were a number of states, especially the economically hard-hit swing states, where the Democratic support went down greatly. In Pennsylvania, it went down 20 points, almost 20 points. In Ohio, 20 points. In Wisconsin, even in states that Hillary Clinton won, like Nevada, the youth vote for the Democrats went down over 20 points.
Whoa, okay. I didn't know that. Now, fast forward to the year 2020, when Generation Z will be a larger proportion of the youth vote. You think there'll be,
yes,
that Generation Z will be the Trump generation?
Well, I'm not sure the Trump generation. I do think that, there were certain aspects that they were attracted to Trump. At least during the election, he was seen as the more transparent, say it like it is type of candidate. And Generation Z is very attracted to that type of attitude. They are not really attached to political parties at the moment. They're still very young. They're much more see themselves as independent. But ideologically, they would certainly align themselves if they were attracted to political parties more so, and I think as people get older they do, they would be more like a moderate Republican, a good old-fashioned Rockefeller Republican, which we don't see as many out there in the country at the moment, but I think the Republicans have an opportunity to pick up on this, and the Democrats can't, just take this group for granted, which they have for the last few decades.
Thank you very much indeed, Professor. We appreciate you being with us this morning. Thank you, sir. Come back again, okay?
You're welcome.
Okay.